You know what I hate? Products that don't work. Now, I consider myself a time-crunched athlete. I don't have time to be sitting on the side of the road, tinkering with gear, fixing flats, and for the purposes of today's discussion, fixing a dropped chain. Yep, we're gonna go there. Let me provide a little context for this video. First, I've recorded this multiple times and I've changed it each time. I even spent an entire flight from California to New York editing the video and then never published it. I just didn't feel like it got my point across. Second, I'm a consumer first and I approach these videos through that lens. I ride 7,000 or 8,000 miles each year. Many of those miles spent testing gear, trying to figure out what works, what doesn't, and where the pain points are with each piece of equipment. Considering that lens, here's how I judge a group set. Number one, can I trust it? Number two, does it perform as intended? Number three, can you live with it day in and day out? And number four, does it add value to my experience? And number five, does it meet my aesthetic taste? Maybe some of those resonate with you. Let's start with, can I trust it? Now, at a basic level, when I roll out on my SRAM Red AXS equipped road bike, I need to know that I'm not gonna run into a mechanical issue that'll leave me stranded on the side of the road or dropped from a group. The group set, at a minimum, needs to do its job, right? This is where the old SRAM Red AXS fell short. Sure, it was fine if you had the front derailleur tuned just right and shifted it in just the right combination. But I think it's safe to say that if you owned that group, you've had the dreaded experience of being on a fast group ride or during a race, and you shift into the front derailleur and you drop a chain. That only has to happen once and you lose trust in your group set. So what did I do? Well, I rarely shifted out of the big ring unless it was absolutely necessary, preferring to ride out of the saddle or at a less than optimal cadence instead of rolling the dice with the front derailleur. Fast forward to the new Red AXS and those concerns have quickly faded. I don't look down or avoid shifting the front derailleur any longer. I have full trust in the shifting of this new group. It's a massive improvement in reliability from the old one. Has it been flawless? Well, not quite. Have I dropped a chain? Yes, I've dropped one chain in 7 months of use. It's not bad at all, and it's on par with the best groups on the market and the best groups that I've ever ridden. So now that we've established trust with the new group, we move to performance. If this is a top tier group, does it perform as such? And at around $4,000 with a power meter, this group had better perform like a $4,000 group set. It should shift flawlessly and quickly both front and rear, and the brake should be exceptional. And the ergonomics should be thoughtfully designed. The front and rear shifting is quick and crisp. It's a noticeable improvement over the previous generation. There's no Bluetooth connectivity lag, and rarely do I find myself searching for a gear or missing shifts. It just works. In addition to the front derailleur being a huge improvement, the brakes, brake levers, shifters, and hoods are better in almost every single way. A common complaint that I'd often hear is that SRAM brakes always felt like they were either on or off with nothing in between. The new group has a ton of brake modulation, allowing you to feather the brakes a little bit and really creating a smooth, controlled braking experience. The ergonomics on the hoods and brake levers are a much welcomed improvement. SRAM claims one finger braking with the new brake levers. I don't think that'll be the case for everyone, but the shape fits well in your hands and it's been thoughtfully redesigned. The shifters have a nice, easy to recognize texture and grip that allows for easy shifting each time. The bonus buttons are also a nice addition. I didn't think I'd use them often. In fact, at first I thought they were kind of pointless, but now I find myself using them all the time. And the hoods, I mean, geez, this is probably the biggest improvement. Thanks to a change in the positions of the pistons, the new hoods no longer have that steep dramatic rise. And then there's the weight. It's the lightest 2x group set on the market at 2,461 grams or 153 grams lighter than the outgoing model. It's hard to feel a lightweight group by itself, but it's nice to know that at this price point, you're getting the lightest group on the market. But does that performance come at a cost of complexity? Does the high-end group come with, well, high maintenance? So far, for me, it hasn't. In fact, since installing this group, I have done nothing except adjust the rear derailleur, and that was only because my bike fell over onto the drive side while I was taking photos. Not ideal. With the SRAM AXS app, it's easy to make these micro adjustments to the rear derailleur and other components. And pairing AXS components and updating firmware is simple. Just follow the instructions in the app and you're done in minutes. And best of all, it's all done over the air. You don't have to connect anything. I have found life on the derailleur batteries to be great. I probably charge them, I don't know, once or twice a month. And that's typically just a precaution because I'm sure that I can get more life out of them if I wanted to run them all the way down to zero. I've only had one derailleur battery die, and I simply swapped the rear derailleur battery to the front derailleur, and I finished the remainder of my ride. Now with one buy and without the insurance policy of the extra battery, I'm a little more cautious and I check the battery status every 10 days or so, just to ensure that each time I leave for a ride, I've got plenty of juice in the batteries. The shifter batteries have yet to need replacing, but again, as a precaution, I'll probably swap them every year or two because when those go, your shifting is done. Now I keep a single 2032 battery wrapped in painter's tape inside of my flat kit, just in case one of those batteries ever decides to give up the ghost while I'm riding. Today's video is sponsored by Hola Adios. Hola Adios is a full service creative agency that I've used on a handful of projects with great success. Whether it's your personal brand, if you want to start a Shopify store, you're trying to figure out how to sell on Amazon, or just get a basic website, they're the guys you get in touch with after you've tried the DIY routes and you're frustrated with the results, just like I was. I'll drop their info below. Tell them I sent you for 20% off your next project. Now back to our regularly scheduled program. I've been really pleased with the range of the 4835 chain rings with the 1033 cassette. The 4810 combo seems to have just enough top end for descending, and the 3533 is great for climbing all the steep stuff that I can throw at it. The spacing on the cassette is fine, and I don't find myself shifting around trying to get into the right cadence. What is your ideal gearing? Let me know in the comments below. See, I could be persuaded to go with something different. I think part of the magic of the SRAM group is that 10-tooth cog in the cassette. If you pull up a gear ratio calculator, adding that 10-tooth adds a ton of top end range. And yes, there are some debates out there about the way that the chain bends and maybe the efficiency of riding in the 10-tooth. But I can tell you, for the minimal times that you might need to use it, it adds quite a bit. So I'm always grateful to have it. Aesthetically, I think that this group looks great. The reduction of silver in exchange for more black on the shift levers, crank arms, chain rings, and derailleurs gives the group a more premium look. I'd love to see a limited run of all black SRAM Red chain rings in the future. I think our eyes are naturally drawn there when we look at a bike from the side. So a nice, clean, all black chain ring would be a hit. The previous hoods looked disproportionately huge and frankly out of place on a clean, sleek front end of a road bike. The new hoods are the best looking hoods on the market, and I can make that case all day long. Then there's the aesthetics of a truly wireless system. This keeps the bike looking clean and streamlined. A small detail, but one that adds up to a premium package. Now, as I said at the beginning, I want a group that I can trust. I don't have time to be stranded on the side of the road tinkering with equipment. I need it to work, and I don't want to second guess it. SRAM has a lot riding on this group, and I think they've nailed it. It's clear that they've read all the negative comments and taken all the harsh feedback and channeled it into creating a fantastic group set. I think the complaint across the board is its price tag. It's a big investment. But if price is keeping you away, the trickle down of the new Force group will be the answer. No, I think that this group is excellent, and it's one that I don't hesitate to recommend to friends. But the big question is, how does it compare to Shimano Dura-Ace? Thankfully, I have a new Scott Addict RC Pro with Dura-Ace, and in a future video, I'll be comparing the two group sets, as well as comparing SRAM 1x and 2x, and wrapping up my long-term review of the SRAM 1x Explorer Axis group that I've had since last summer. Anyways, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. And until next time.